Okay, so today we're going to show you how to build SPARQL queries in Gruff completely automatically and completely visually without writing any text. Most of the people that look at this demo will have written SPARQL queries and they will have had some frustrations. I mean, you want to write a query, you know exactly what you want to do, except you have to find namespaces, you make spelling mistakes, all these URIs are usually far too long. And then you write filter expressions and you have to go to the W3 website to find how to do the syntax for your filter stuff. So it's so in itself, SPARQL is relatively simple to understand, but just then writing it is just tedious. So we wrote a visual query editor to make that far more easier. Okay, so I'm going to demo this today, and I'll start with a database. So what you see here is Gruff, and I open a database called gov.db. It's a database that you actually can find in our distribution. It's and the database originally comes from Psych. In the context of a government contract, they added some information about terrorists, terrorist organizations, weapons, etc., and turned that into RDF. And so we have this database here, and you can get it from our distribution. Then, so I have loaded it in, and now I want to find, I want to do a SPARQL query where I find all the properties of the leaders of terrorist organizations. Yeah, very simple query. Well, let's start and let's begin. So, because I've free text indexed all the triples, let me just start by finding Osama bin Laden. I choose from add subject nodes by free text query. Usually I just use the semicolon, by the way. So I'm here and I say, oh, I already had typed it in, Osama bin Laden. And I click OK, and here I get all the triples that somehow have Osama bin Laden in them. And I click on Al-Qaeda, and so now I have one node with Al-Qaeda. I can hit the letter T. Well, let me show you here. I can go to the table view, and here we see all the properties of Al-Qaeda. So we see that Al-Qaeda is able to control the Hira construction. Al-Qaeda is affiliated with a jihad group. Al-Qaeda has allies, Islamic group, etc., etc. Yeah, so I could click on, say, what do I see here? Osama bin Laden. Here see we all the properties of Osama bin Laden, and I can just keep on clicking. Then I can go back to the view, the graph view with G. And so you see all the things I clicked on so far. But let me go back to Al-Qaeda. So I hit the letter Z a few times, and now I'm back to my original one. I could explode Al-Qaeda in different ways. So if I can do right-click, I can say a subject, and I could click on some properties like leaders, show me all, and say the founding agents, So now we have here, for example, this person and this person are both a leader and the founding agent. And remember this because I'm going to do something with that later when I build my query. And then I could look at, say, the features of a particular person, and I could right-click on it and go to a subject, or I could actually hit the letter I, and I get all the predicates that come from the things that you see on the screen. And let me just select all, meaning give me all the triples that start with this person, and if I copy them, then I also get all the triples that point to this person. And I could click on this person, hit the letter F, and then I go deeper and deeper. Yeah, and I could hit on this letter here again, F. And so I could explore the graph completely graphically. But anyway, let's now go back and create a query. So what we do again, we'll start with Al-Qaeda. So we take Al-Qaeda and we copy this one. So we do Control-C. So what you see at the bottom is now that Al-Qaeda is copied to the clipboard. And now I go to the visual query editor. Yeah, I'll do this once with the menu, and the rest of the time I will just hit the letter E. Yeah, but for this time, I go here to graphical query view. And so now I can start building queries. So I just copied Al-Qaeda, and so here I have it again. I do Control-V, and I have Al-Qaeda in my screen. Yeah, so a lot easier than typing the whole thing you see at the bottom. Just get it here. And let's look at some properties. So say first let's find the leaders. So I right-click and I add a node variable, and I call it a leader. And then I add a predicate link. So I drag it to the leader, and I have to choose one of the predicates. And I could, well, there's many ways to do this. This is common predicates, the predicates most used. Reference predicates are predicates that are used for Al-Qaeda. So I click on R, and I find, say, has leaders. And so now I have a query where it says Al-Qaeda has leaders, leader. And I can do a query, and here we see all the leaders of Al-Qaeda. Yeah. By the way, so I jumped into this screen is actually the query screen. If I hit the letter E again, I'm back in this thing here. And also let's add the founding agent. So I right-click, I say add node variable, I make a new one, I call it a founder, and we add a predicate link here, and I take one of the things that I know that is in Al-Qaeda, and it in this case is the founding agent. So now we have that, and I can do the query again. So I could do the query, here's the query, and here you see that SPARQL that was actually generated. Yeah. So here you say select every leader and founder, where Al-Qaeda has a leader, and a founding agent, founder. So let me go back to the query view by hitting the letter E, and say now I want to say that the leader and the founder cannot be the same. Well, it's easy to add that, so I can just right-click on the leader and say add a filter link, and I drag it to the founder. And now there's various things I can do. One of them is I say they have to be the same or not the same, and if these things were numbers, I can say smaller than or bigger than or whatever, or same term. Let me just choose this one here, and if we now look at the text of the query, you see that we added the filter for the leader is not the same as the founder. Yeah. Let's go back to the query view again, and as we said, we wanted to see all the properties of the leaders of terrorist organizations. Well, the first thing is we'll turn Al-Qaeda into a general query about terrorist organizations. So what we do is we say convert to a variable with a type. So we do this, and we make a new node variable, and we say a terror group. And what you see now is we see that we have turned Al-Qaeda into a group type terrorist group Islamist. So the triple store knows that the terror group has this particular type. So when I turn this into a variable with the type, it will do it automatically. Can you just imagine that you had to figure that all out yourself and grab through files or look at the database and kind of do copy and paste? No, this makes it completely automatic to go from an instance to the general type of that particular instance. I'm really excited about that capability. So let's do the query again. And so now we find terror groups, leaders, and founders. Actually, we get only one terror group here because there's only one terror group where we had both the founder and the leaders, and they were not the same. Okay, so we go back. And so now we want to know all the properties of a leader. So we can right-click on leader. No, sorry. I make a new node variable, and I call it other. So now I want to know everything else about the leaders, and I in this time create a new type of link, which is a predicate variable link. Yeah, so I don't know what the name of the predicate is. I just want to know everything about this particular person. So, and I will call it just simply a link or whatever I want to call it. Now, if I do the query, I find all the different properties for leaders. So has been in, occupation, the sponsor, the comment, who the boss is, the friends, the GUIDs, has been in, etc., etc. So you basically find everything about these leaders. And then one final thing. So we have this leader here, who's not the same as the founder. So let's do a filter for a particular node. So say I only want the leader where the leader has Osama in it. So I right-click on leader. I say specify node filter. And then here's all the things you can do in SPARQL filter expressions. But we just choose, say, a regular expression. And say we type Osama. And I say OK. So now we see leader with a regex Osama. And if I do the query, then we see that the leader in this case is now only Osama bin Laden. And here's the full query. Then there are some few other possibilities that you can do. If I right-click on the background of the screen, I can say specify variables to select and specify variables to order by. Yeah, so, for example, I don't want to see all the variables, and I can just click on this, and I can say, okay, I want to only see other and leader. Once I've done that, if I look at the text of the query, so now we see that we only get other and leader. Yeah, so this is one way to deal with this. And then another, I hit the letter R, by the way, to get, oh, no, I have to go take this to get to the center again. And the other thing I want to show you is you can also do order by. First, let me select all the variables again. So I say specify variables to select. If I click once, all the variables will be selected again. Now I right-click again and say I want to order by the link type of the predicate link, the predicate variable link here. So I specify variables to order by, and then I say, well, I want to specify by this, and then the second thing would be by founder, and the third thing would be by this. So now if I, and then I click again, and now if I show the text of the query, we see order by, other, founder, and leader. And that basically concludes my demo. I'm extremely enthusiastic about this because I always find it hard to write SPARQL queries, but this has got so easy. And we have, well, Gruff is, as always, freely available on our website. This is in the lab section. It currently works only with 3.3. It probably this week also work in our 4.0 version. Just download it, play with it, and let us know what you think, and let us know what we should change or make better. By the way, before you do it, please know that we're also working already on 2 additional features. We're going to add optional expressions, and we're going to add union expressions. So expect that to be there in the lab in, say, the next month.